Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Sketch Club. My name is Jason Meyer. The girls are missing again tonight. It seems like they get busier and busier with every second, so we'll probably be seeing less and less of those two. Anywho, tonight's our 4 5-minute sketches. So, as usual, this is meant for a little workout. 5 minutes is not very long at all. So, don't be thinking about completing it, but just trying to think about seeing it as a whole and seeing if we can't get the statement of the whole down in this first 5 minutes. Then Tuesday we'll have 10 minutes on the first two, and Thursday we'll do 10 minutes on the last two that we did tonight. So you'll get 15 minutes total. Again, that's not much time, so don't expect too much. Treat these more as kind of an exercise, loosening up, something to stretch your creativity for the week, for the day, for the evening. So why don't we take a look at what we'll be doing this week? So I wanted to continue with the action, but this time I've included a couple of still lifes. And sunflowers are great for action. So let's see. Make sure we got what we need here. Oops, no wonder that's not working. No wonder that's not working. Here we go. So if you see, we know that, right? And if it's facing down or one way or the other, boom, as it goes to the side, those will stay wider and those should get a little thinner, right? So anyway, you want to make sure to check your ellipses, because that's going to tell you a lot about the direction of the flower. The other thing that I think is important and characteristic is notice that on some of these we're very long, and then on this side, since they're not that big, right? So they're not even all the way around. They're not even all the way around. Small there, large. Looks, this one even cuts in. That cuts in. So we don't have those perfect cylinders there. So something to be aware of. The first mark, you see what I did. I mean, for 5 minutes, you don't have much. So I forgot about that. I said, forget about that. And I wanted to see if I could get something going like that. So those will be the three that I'm concentrating on tonight. You're welcome to just concentrate on one or more if you work really fast. Whatever suits you. All right, so that'll be our first one this week. Clean that up. And then we've got another still life, another sunflower. Again, notice these centers. So, and then we don't even see the other side because that top is on, but it's round. So you see that's a pretty thin little piece there. Okay, so I'm going to focus on these two, and then I'm going to get that one in there too. I like that that's above there, so it's a little bit of a jump there at the end. I think that's fun. Again, look and see, are these leaves, do they look the same? Leaves, petals. Do these petals look the same as those? No, look at those. That's much, much, much different. What about here? Look how thin it gets at this place. And then where is it widest? Pretty wide all the way over here. Okay? So that's what you want to think about as you're drawing these. Excuse me. Allergies are a little bad today. We've got a little kitty cat there. So not unlike the human head, but right, you want to see, right? And look how forward that is on the head over, right? It's that face, we're seeing mostly the top of his head. Look how much more space there is up here. Right? That face happens all pretty tight because of the angle at which we're looking looking at the kitty cat from. All right. Um, so if we say the light's coming from this direction, we've got shadow, shadow, shadow. Okay. And then can we get that going back and coming forward before going down? Okay, again, the doingness of it all. That's what we want to see, right? We're not copying details, but we want to understand what this thing is doing, whatever it may be, whether it's a sunflower, or a kitty cat, a grandchild, a tree, even a guitar player. Whatever it is, we want to make sure that we see the doingness. So here again, this is another, look at where the face happens. The face happens on that little bitty slice up there. So there's not much, is there? But this ear is very telling. The placement of that ear is very, very telling. Okay? If this came back through the pit of the neck, where would it go? It'd go right there. And there's the center of his chest. Is this his shoulder? His other shoulder there. Okay, is that arm coming at us and then going away from us? Make sure we're showing all of that. Make sure we're showing all of that. And of course you want to get him playing and a picking. Playing and a picking. Okay, how are you going to do that? How are you going to do that? Well, have you guys noticed the light shadow pattern? Here, the light, the shadow's right there, and then there's a little shadow. And so on that cylinder, that happens like that. And then this cylinder, remember how we talked about squares to circles? Right? But this one, look how much light's on that. Just a little bit at the top. It's mostly in shade. And that's going to go a long ways to tell you the direction of these cylinders. Okay, so if you're not familiar with that, make sure to check out our online school. We've got our first online course up, the basic forms, and we go over all that in there. Let's see, that's it. That's number 4. That's 4 of them. So I think it's about you guys' turn to take a shot at it. Is everybody warmed up and ready to go? Oh, I realize my comments are missing. Excuse me. How can I see what's going on? There we go. Hello, hello, hello. We got Susan and Shakti. Tell them we miss them. We sure will. Cat, I tried to go on. Guess it was a warm up. There we go. There we go. We got another cat for you. Another cat for you. Well, let's not waste any time and let's get going. Let's see, where is those videos? Here they are. Let's sketch. Okay, let's see. You're gonna need some. What are you guys gonna need? You're gonna need some reference material there. So there we go. Not sure why I'm hiding in the little corner over here. See if I can't be a little more involved in this. Okay, so the first thing you saw was kind of my movement, how I'd like all these things to move all the way through. Reference what? Yeah, we weren't able we'll be getting those up a little bit later today. We were running a little bit behind today, so we'll see if we can't get those reference images up by this evening. Thanks, Paula. Thanks for that reminder. Remind everybody. We're usually pretty on it, but occasionally there's life. Occasionally there's life. So again, the benefit of this it's not compressed, it's vine. The vine charcoal that I'm using is it's so forgiving. So it's really nice to be able to get in there and put a few marks, and you can even like act like you're feeling across those things in 3 dimensions. All right, we've been talking a little bit about that in class, about making it feel like you're going around those things when you put that line down. Make the line feel voluminous. Speaking of the course, I know a few of you guys were waiting. The Fundamentals of Form charcoal should be absolutely complete now. If you run into something that's not there or is supposed to be there, please let me know, because I'm pretty sure that all got finished up Saturday, unless I missed something, which is a possibility. It's a little bit crazy, so. But if I did miss something, please don't hesitate to reach out and let us know for typos or errands, or if something's missing. Try to make sure nothing like that's happening, but if it is, we want to make sure to fix it. So again, I'm not trying to get too much done, too detailed. Also notice how I haven't really done the outside of the flowers. I've worked from the inside. I started from the inside of these things. So I'm going to start work from the inside out. So that's another little concept we've been talking about in class. So Sketch Club can be a good place to give those new methods, those new approaches, those new mental concepts a try. Right? How do you work from the inside out? What does that look like? Thanks, Claudia. I know, Claudia. Yeah, as everything opens back up a little bit, I think everybody's going to be getting a little busier and busier and busier. Kind of the nature of life. So, also, if you've enjoyed Sketch Club, make sure you check out the online school as well. You can find that at the website, jasonmeyer.com. We'll have that up on the screen at the end of the thing here. But it's hard to say what the future is going to hold, but there will be some changes coming in the next month or so. So you stay tuned with the website or with the online school. You're guaranteed not to miss anything. So when I was first starting out, it would drive me crazy when the instructors would do this. You know, they'd spend so much time seemingly doing nothing. Well, they were actually doing quite a bit. I was just completely unaware of everything they were doing. So I would get frustrated. I'd be, just hurry up. Oh my goodness. Make the mark, move on. Oops, our 5 minutes is up. Man, that goes fast. That goes fast. But never fear, you can have one more chance at sunflowers again. A little different scenario here. You know, something like a sunflower or even a regular flower, it can be endless practice because of the various angles. You could tilt it, twist it, sit below it, sit above it, sit at eye level. How does it change on all of those? Again, what you see here is I'm thinking about the connection between all of them. And often you'll see me go from one side of the page to the other side of the page. And what I'm doing there is not necessarily measuring, but saying, okay, how is this relating to this height over here? How does that second flower relate to that height, and how does my third flower relate to that height? Right? I don't want to go contour, 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 but I want to find some big relationships that we can hold on to and move from. All right? Where are we going to move from? And as creators, not copiers, we want to move from the inside out. We want to move from the inside out. So you don't always get it right that first time. That's what they made the eraser Vine charcoal for. Very, very forgiving. Very forgiving. Think of Vine charcoal kind of as your teenage years. Right? Hopefully if you need to, you can just kind of smudge that stuff out and let's get on with it. I don't know. Any of you have, I don't know, I guess some people have great teenage years. But I'm absolutely glad not all mine was on video. I am thankful for that. Always been awkward in the best case scenario, so. Ooh, throw puberty in on that. Double the awkward. Quadruple. More awkward than we can handle. Again, today what I'm concerned with is just getting a sense for the whole. Right? I'm not getting exact petals or anything like that. Just getting a sense of the whole. Right? How much bigger are the petals on this side? How much wider than the petals on the other side of the middle? Right? It's quite a difference. I'm just filling that out. Because ultimately we've got to be designing all of this. Right? We don't copy, we design. So our sketching's mainly done to understand, one, and then two, to explore what's possible with this setup, with these light dark patterns. We sketch to fire our imagination. Right? And once our imagination is fired and we think we have a concept, then we can sketch for clarity. But there's all kinds of different ways to sketch. I think I've talked about it before. One of the most enlightening books I've ever read was a book called How to Read a Book. It was no joke. It was no joke. It was for real. And it was very enlightening to me. Right? Did you think you knew how to read a book? I don't know. Maybe you do. Maybe you do. I don't know. But how many things do we assume? Right? And once we assume, once the assumption is made, what happens? Well, once the assumption is made, we quit questioning. Right? And by not knowing, by questioning, by staying in the not knowing, by seeing what we need to know, that's how we grow. That's how we develop. Development's never easy all the way through. If you're really developing, at some point you're going to hit frustration. Right? That's okay. And also if you're developing, if you're leaving your old understanding behind and trying to come into a new understanding, your work may fall off drastically. Right? So the question is, when your work falls off drastically, are you brave enough to stay in the unknown? To stay in your work falling off in order to learn something? Right? In order to grow? I think with modern society, we're used to everything right on time, tick, 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 tick. Hmm. To the best of my knowledge, all artistic development isn't a straight line. Isn't a straight line at all. So, welcome those hard times. Welcome the ugly things, right? Because that means you're moving out of your previous understanding and you're looking for a new understanding, right? That's nothing to be shy away from. Something to embrace and run towards, in my opinion. If you value safety too much, it's hard to explore. It's hard to explore and find, and creativity is above everything else. It's about exploring, right? Exploring the possibilities. And for things to be possible, you got to be able to move them, right? We got to be able to move things around, shift them, enlarge them, shrink them, make them more dynamic, make them less dynamic. So the control you're looking for is usually a little bit different than when people come into art thinking they think it's a certain training of the hand, and with that training comes the art. But the art comes with the training of the mind. There's a bit of hand coordination, but not really. If you train the mind, right? If you know what you're trying to do, right, then you will invent the technique that you need to do it. Right? I mean, there's not that much you can do with this stuff. It's a piece of burnt wood. There's no unplugging and restarting and rebooting and calling support. No, it's a mark. And it's got a range somewhere from very, very light to somewhat dark. And then we can give that mark a hard edge or a soft edge. But outside that, this piece of burnt wood's not going to do much more than that. So I don't necessarily see that cylinder of the mouth because it's tilted down a little bit, but I put that in there to feel the volume. Right? I want to start feeling the volume on this kitty cat. Right? We're going to be disappointed if it's a two-dimensional cutout. We want it to be able to take food inside that mouth. I think mine's going to end up looking a little bit more like a raccoon when we leave today, but that's okay. Again, we're not worried with specifics right now, but we're trying to get the doingness. So just trying to get that arm, leg going back and then coming forward, then falling down. Right, so you see as I get these general placement on there, and again with the vine charcoal, it's very forgiving. It's very forgiving. So rather than trying to say, oh, that's exactly that cat, I recognize it, try to see if you can show the viewer what the cat's doing. What the doingness. Right? What would happen if you started with the doingness? How do you portray the doingness? Doingness, the gesture. Right? It's all about the doingness. Learn to do that. Learn to do the doingness. Then maybe we can move on to the isness of things. And I hope you can notice too how I'm not dictating things. I'm trying to find things. Right? So as I put those marks down, It's not, oh, this is exact. It's like, where is that thing? Is it here? Or is it a little bit over, a little bit under? Right, try to be a little bit looser as you work. A bit freer. I guess that's all the love the cat gets tonight. So what does that leave us with? Does that leave us with this guy rocking out in Tom's studio? Let's see. I guess I could move him over, huh? Could move him over that. Move him over the trash panda there. So again, we want to see the doingness of him, and we want to feel the 3 dimensions of him, right? We want to feel the volume. I want to make sure this guy's not a cardboard cutout at the movie theater. All right, advertising a new movie or something. It's all about kind of comparing, relating. Compare, relate, compare, relate. And when the instructors used to take so long to make their marks, man, I thought, this is great. I'm going to freaking rock this thing when I get down there and do this. Man, I'm going to be so much faster. These guys are going to be easy to beat. Oof. Oof. Ignorance is bliss. Is ignorance bliss? I don't know. I don't know. If I wasn't so ignorant, I probably wouldn't have stayed with it. If I wasn't so ignorant about how badly I was doing when I started, I don't think I would have stayed with it. But hey, I enjoyed it, and I wanted to learn. I wanted to learn. I want to feel those guitar strings vibrating. Feel the air in his lungs building up for him about to belt out. All right, what are you looking for? What are you trying to draw? Right, this guitar, this 3-dimensionality thing's tricky. Tricky, tricky, tricky. So be patient. That's why those guys were taking so long to do all that. Because they weren't doing 2-dimension, they were doing 3-dimension. And you'll see, I end up getting this guitar pretty way off down here. But that's okay, it's Vine charcoal. And when I get back to this on Thursday, boom, I know that's got to be corrected, and we correct it. Just like the eyes and the nose, we want to make sure that those ends, those parallels, line up. Alright, you got about 30 seconds left. Alright, but when you do only have 30 seconds, still don't hurry. You can only go as fast as you can. Right, this would be kind of a rough draft. a rough draft, if you will. All right, how did everybody do tonight? Are you guys thankful to get off of portraits for a little while? Huh? Are you guys enjoying those, or are you sick of those? They're kind of a love-hate thing. If you're doing them well, man, they're a blast. But if you're struggling, oof, it's like boot camp or something. No fun. No fun. All right, so has everybody had a chance to put your pencils down? Shake it off a bit. Shake it off a bit. All right, let's see the rewind. Again, working from the inside out. Working off that movement. Now, if you're just starting out, that's a pretty advanced way to start based on the movement. So don't worry about that. Just get your drawings, your proportions, your perspective, things like that going right now. Wherever you're at, it's okay. There's always stuff to work. That's what never changes, is you're always working on something. And it's just a matter of what you're working on. Right? And if you'll just learn to work, it doesn't matter what it is. Just learn to work. Right? You learn to work, and then you work to learn. That's my motto. So we got some doing this, some 3 dimensions. I'm relatively happy with that, you know. I feel like most of that information is there. Most of the information's there. All right, guys. Well, we're back at it. Sunday night, tomorrow morning for class, there will be office hours. So what office hours are for is I encourage you to take that time for studio time and do some work. If you get stuck or have a question, hop on the Zoom. It'll be there on the live, and I'll be there from 8:30 to 10:30. Waiting. If there's any questions, I'll just take them as they come. But work. Make sure your work, you know, don't get all your questions answered before you work. Work, 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 work. And then as you're working, let's work on these questions. But the understanding can only come from your practice, right? My job is to bring the awareness. Then as you practice, the understanding becomes yours. That's how it goes. All right. Thank you for a sketchy evening with a sketchy guy. You're welcome. All right. So glad you guys had a good time. So we'll be signing off. Marty, it's good to see you. Saw you got signed up for school, you and Paula. So thank you guys for that. And we'll make sure you haven't paid for the class. But if Marty or Paula, if you guys would like to sit in and see what happens on office time, you can go in, hit live in the morning between 8:30 and 10:30. You want to enter through your Zoom when there's a little thing that says join the class. Right below there's a little thing, little words. There's a Zoom thing. Hit that. You'll be audio, video. If you are sitting in on the class, I ask that let the people who paid for it participate. But you're welcome to kind of audit, sit there and see what's going on and get a feel for what's happening. All right, everybody, that will do it. You're welcome, Paula. It's good seeing all of you. And we'll be back Tuesday night. Tomorrow morning, there'll be class on the school under live, 8:30 to 10:30 office hours. And then we're going to pick up with Masterworks Monday night and then morning jumpstart starting Tuesday morning on YouTube. Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.